My fiancés never came to see me in the ER and I'm not sure how to move forward and if I can forgive. I was in a motorcycle accident that my fiancé never came to see me while recovering and it's broken me. I was in motorcycle wreck that was honestly my fault for not reacting. You can do all the courses and drills but for me when it happens at least I tried to brake and swerve to no luck. The only reason I survived is because I wore about 2K in safety gear to set the example for other new riders I was with and to ease my parents' blood pressure. The wreck occurred on a fast road that I honestly shouldn't have survived and just had a few broken bones. I got a motorcycle to help with my mental health in conjunction with therapy, counseling, and difficulty acclimating to the region. Every bit of a motorcycle accident where you can't move is as traumatic as you think it is, that seconds after the wreck thinking you're about to get killed by a car that doesn't see you, helpless due to broken bones. Bystanders trying to drag you away from a motorcycle on fire but not sure if your back is broken, firefighters/EMS cutting your clothes off of you as everyone watches and so much more. Prior to this I had been struggling with depression and thoughts of suicide and in truly almost dying I realized how much I cherished life within that short period of seconds and how wrong I was. When I hit the ground I called my mom as she listened to me until the ambulance got there. In the ambulance I made phone calls to anybody in this new state that I moved to, no family, just my bosses who cared about me. They're trying not to cry watching me and crying as I screamed when they got there. The only person that picked up was someone I knew from high school that I hadn't seen in about 5 years. C, 23F, we'll call her. We had talked as friends over phone for 2 months prior when she found out I moved here. She dropped what was doing and drove 4 hours to get to me to be there by my side. She wasn't able to get in the first night due to visiting hours, drove back home and then drove the 4 hours all over again the next day just to see me. C saw me and hugged me as I cried in the ER. I just wanted a friendly non-work face and my entire work and nurses began telling me to marry her as a joke. I was shocked by her generosity and support. She became my unofficial therapist through talking about my mental health and chaplain by praying for and with me. She fed me on the ER bed. She wouldn't leave until she knew for sure my family was in from their flights, invited me to stay at her family's house, invited me to church. I had never felt that kindness. She was there for me even when I chose to be honest with the psychiatrist that came in asking about my mental history. She still sat by my side for 8 hours until she knew I had family coming. I asked her to leave early to get home safely and not extremely late on the 4-hour drive back, but since I called her, she's been keeping me phone company and helping through what all the doctors and healthcare professionals tell me is preset PTSD. Maybe it was the amount of drugs or my fractured emotions, but I fell for her, hard in a day. I had a crush on her in high school that I never really got over but had to move on from, and it all came back. With C here, the most burning sensation of love that I've ever felt for the sheer niceness, care, and support that she gave me and still now asks for daily updates. This causes me great emotional turmoil to even feel this way because I'm currently engaged to a 24F. A is unable to come see me due to us being in LDR due to work and is unsure when she'll be able to come up to see me due to personal and family plans. We've been in a rough relationship for a while, dating for 7 years at least. A and I used to be perfect, but work and our own traumas post-college in our hard career fields drove us apart until eventually we had to go LDR due to a variety of reasons that I didn't agree with. Needless to say, I'm hurt that A's not here. I needed a now more than ever as I cried and sobbed from my ER bed until C came. Needless to say that if A was in my shoes, I'd go see her in a heartbeat, regardless of cost, work, or family. To make matters worse, when I told A that despite it all I'd still hop on bike after months of recovery, she was furious with me. C figured out how much it meant to my mental health to ride and was extremely supportive of it. I hate myself for enjoying something so dangerous and scream at myself to stop liking it, but I just can't, not now at least. Additionally, when A found out about C, she was extremely jealous and let it be known through texts as I was broken in an ER. I'm not sure what to do. C knows of my tenuous engagement and I found out she had a crush on me in high school through an uninvolved but reliable source. After fighting for my life through the pain, bones being reset and horrible moments of 1,000-yard stares, I just want a female companion that can hold me as I sob, someone to truly love me, and I'm not sure if that's healthy. I don't know if I can ever move past and not being able to tell me when and if she'll be here. Additionally, I'm terrified to think of thought of being so shallow to even endanger my 7-year relationship despite the problems in the last year. I don't know if the feeling is mutual for C, but I can't take 2 heartbreaks on top of all my physical and mental damage already. I don't know, my mind's just a wreck, but C's caring for me, twirling hair, locked eyes with me, nervous tapping, talking to me, hugging me tight as we said goodbye. Has awakened feelings of love and attractiveness I didn't know was possible. But at the same time I proposed to A when things were better, and I always intended to marry this girl and be there for her through it all, but it just hurts she's not here. I don't know what to do. I feel betrayed, like I'm not a priority. The ER hurts so damn much, and I feel like I left part of myself on the road that fateful day, and I physically need the help of a loving, caring companion, romantic or not, to pick up the pieces together. Is she a true friend and maybe more, or did she just respond to a person in need and my mental state filled in the gaps? Is my anger and mistrust justified at my fiancé? Does anybody have their 2 cents from an experience similar? Comment. Deep breath. First, I am glad you survived. My brother was also in a horrible motorcycle accident that was not his fault. He also almost died, and he also, against all of our wishes, went on to ride motorcycles as it is his piece. That said, now is not the time to make rash, lifelong decisions. You may well decide your fiancé is not the one for you. But don't push too hard for the new relationship. You have a lot of growing and thinking and healing to do. Take your time. Get counseling if you need it. And then be grateful for the new life you have been granted. Make it special. Whether or not there may be a future with C, you now know there is absolutely no future with A. Not changing plans to be with you is reprehensible. Do not marry her and chain yourself to someone that's selfish. You are trauma bonding with C. I would be wary of making any harsh decisions right now and until your PTSD has been treated and you are on your way to recovery from depression. That being said, I would be extremely suspicious of why A hasn't at least booked a weekend flight to see you. Leaving your partner alone during these trying times is something I wouldn't even fathom. This is the reason money, paid time off and leaves of absence exist. I've been in your situation twice and it really starts to cast doubts on why you actually want someone to be with you. I understand that sometimes having those needs fulfilled by someone that should be a complete stranger to you kind of shocks your brain. Hear us, this random person who by all means should only care so much, doing what another person should be doing. I would be suspicious of C's reasons to be so present during this time, knowing you are engaged. I wouldn't cast aside doubts regarding C's intentions. If I were you, I would thank C with my life and ask A for a time to re-evaluate your priorities. A has failed you, but you don't have to fail yourself. Let C go and break up with A if needed. Find another person to be with. For starters, I'm glad you're okay. I agree with another poster that you might be trauma bonding with C, so perhaps try to keep things a bit cooler, and please look into some counseling to help you process this crazy accident. But also, I think the relationship with you and A has run its course. No matter what a couple is going through, if they have the means, which she does, or at least can be provided by others, they would be there in a heartbeat. The fact that A doesn't want to be inconvenienced by coming to visit you when you literally almost died and are hospitalized speaks volumes. You deserve better than what A is providing. Next story 2. I ran into the love of my life after 7 years without contact. I recently happened upon the love of my life by chance a few days ago after 7 years without contact. We will refer to this woman as M for this post's purposes. Background: M and I had been dating for 2 blissful years. There may be a rosy tint to my nostalgia, but, honestly, it was a great relationship. Communication came easy. I did and still do have problems with addiction/substance abuse. I struggle with this, but I'm highly functional. I completely separate my drug and alcohol use from my career and stay on the right side of the law, except for possessing contraband. Further, I enjoy long periods of sobriety but relapse regularly. I'm not proud of this, but it was not anything I kept a secret from M. She did not approve of this and would not enable my behavior. She would talk to me about her concerns and disapproval rationally and dispassionate. In turn, I was 100% honest when I did relapse, and her approval was another motivation to stay clean. Communication came easy between us. Long shared silences were not uncomfortable. Our mutual physical attraction was fierce, our sex life abundant and fulfilling. We didn't share many common interests, each with our own hobbies, so we would expose each other to new and interesting things, and doing the things we enjoyed separately, together was another level of intimacy. We had friend groups that slightly overlapped, but we both had active lives beyond each other, and we could combine friend groups, e.g. parties, etc., and everyone got along/was respectful. She is whip smart, ruthless in her pursuits, and beautiful inside and out. The break, Q 2016, I took my first career job in my field with a good company. It required relocation a few hours away to rural Arkansas. I looked at the job as a potential springboard position where putting in a couple years at this role would open up a dream job down the line. M was in a similar position, but we were only a few hours by car away and handled the distance well. After a year or so of this, M had a chance to promote and enter 2-year development role in Tampa, Florida. Seeing each other by car was now out of the question, but in 2 years she would be able to relocate to one of the dozens of U.S. cities her company had offices in. I took this opportunity to pursue a master's degree at University of Idaho. Same deal, 2-year program with a lot of doors opening upon completion. It became unrealistic to see each other with any regularity, and we had the hard conversation to take a break and see if after we finish out respective obligations where we were. M got in another relationship during this time. It turned serious. We lost contact. I was sad but understood, and since the break was gradual but relatively clean, I dove into my career, had relationships, lived life. No hard feelings, but she is and always has been the love of my life. I ran into her by accident last week. We briefly caught up. SSE has a 2-year-old son, she's co-parenting but otherwise single. We've been texting regularly since and are going to meet for drinks on Thursday. I'll play it by ear, but I want to tell her how I feel about her after so long without contact. Is that too /off-putting/weird? Or should I just appreciate the casual encounter and let things take a natural course? Comment. Person with substance abuse issues tries to begin relationship with ex that has 2-year-old child by going out for drinks. That is not a smart decision, my man. Hey op, you said you have been sober for 16 months. Don't throw it away for a long shot chance at a relationship. Based on your post, she never liked the fact that you were using when you were together. Showing her that you are clean now will win points. Top golf war. Others have said it already, but her kid is going to be her priority this time around. She doesn't need the added load of taking care of a relapsing addict on top of that. It's too forward and off-putting. You are meeting for coffee and you want to pour your heart out to an ex you haven't seen in 7 years. It's too much and likely to scare her. Let things go naturally and don't put expectations on things. An addict is always an addict, and can be 100% sober. Like an alcoholic isn't recovered but is a recovering alcoholic. It never ends, even with 100% sobriety. It is a lifelong commitment to being sober. I would strongly recommend you do not rekindle a relationship with this mom with a young child. It would be very selfish of you. If you truly cared for her, let her go. Be prepared to have to cut out drugs and substance abuse if you want to be with a lady with a kid. If we are just talking pot, might not be a problem. But if I was to meet a person with real hardcore problems, I would not want that around my kid. You can also expect the dad knows about your past. Bust of luck, if you try to get things back off the ground. Take it slow, and have fun. It sounds like there is still something there. But don't be so foolish or forward, take it slow and feel it out. You've still got substance abuse issues and she has a small child. It's not quite the carefree bliss of your 20s. With that being said, be honest about your situation, and if she's really interested you'll get that vibe. Sounds like you two communicate well, so that's a plus. So I went through this myself. We date off and on from 12 to 22, I'm the one with the kid, he had a big problem with drugs and I walked away and met someone. 17 years later I file for divorce, my ex invites me to dinner and 8 months later we are married and happier than we ever thought we could be. Here's the thing, I never in a million years would have thought about us being more than old acquaintances if he hadn't been 100% sober. No one worth a damn would have that around their kid, that's why I walked away from him when he tried to come back. I had a 2-year-old who I had to protect and he just couldn't get it together, and no one was worth putting my son at risk. Why should she and her kid deal with your substance abuse issues? What are you going to improve in her life? Yeah, you still have feelings for her because she never fucked up your life and she was extremely positive as a reason to motivate you. You're looking at what you can gain back by being with her, and she's going to get what? Someone she still has to worry about substance abuse issues with and raising a kid alone. I feel bad for her. Please leave her alone.